Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we have a topic that is really an interesting topic to dive into, and it's also something that I feel like all of us as human beings have experienced at some point, or currently are experiencing it, or know someone who is experiencing it, and that is existential crisis or existential questions that might come up along your life's journey. So, we're going to go into that. What is that? What can we do if we find ourselves in that situation? And how do we move through that in a skillful way that puts us in a higher vibration on the other side of it? My name is Derek Ivy. I'm a board certified clinical hypnotherapist, researcher, and intuitive. And I help people get through the stuff that is holding them back in life so they can experience their true self expression. So, what is an existential crisis? So this term gets thrown around very loosely, I think. It's often joked about. You might hear even somebody saying, I'm going through an existential crisis. I'm going through a midlife crisis. So that's kind of how this term gets loosely thrown around, but it's also a very, very real thing that really has the power to affect you on the deepest levels. So, if you find yourself in a real existential crisis, then this is going to be really useful information. Um, so, a real existential crisis comes in life when we kind of begin to question our existence. We begin to question our normal or our ways of being, our ways of doing things, our ways of being in the world. Um, a lot of daily, everyday life ways of being might come into question. And a lot of this goes on far beyond the surface level to where a lot of people are actually experiencing an existential crisis, and they might not even really know that that's what it is, but they know that they're just not feeling like themselves or they're questioning themselves. And right now, at this time on our planet, like I've said before, and I will most likely say again, we are at a time on our planet where people are reaching edges that they've never reached before. They're being challenged in ways that they have never been challenged before. So it's going to be really important to really have skillful strategies to not only move through these questions, but to integrate these questions and therefore the answers to them in such a way that we come out on the other side not enriched from that experience, and that we can learn as much as we need to learn from these experiences without um, damaging ourselves or bringing ourselves down lower. So, an existential crisis can oftentimes come through a really difficult or trying time in life. It might be about that actual huge change in the way that you live your life that happens so drastically, or it might take the form of that event kind of setting other questions that are seemingly unrelated into motion. But existential crisis is this recognition of freedom more than anything. We're always so free as human beings. We always have so many different timeline possibilities that we could possibly go down. But with an existential crisis, it's like we get anxiety or we get overwhelmed by all of those different possibilities and options. And then we question ourselves whether or not we're doing the right thing, whether or not we're safe, whether or not what we're doing is sustainable. And it can be of any number of things. Years ago, I had a client who was really, really struggling with an existential crisis around his artwork. He was a wonderful artist. He made really beautiful artwork. He was very good at drawing. He made all of these comics, cartoons, stuff of that nature. But then he realized these other ways of doing his artwork, and it wouldn't make sense in his brain whether or not he should continue down this road of making the artwork that he currently knew he really loved making, he was really good at doing, but then there was that question that came into mind of if he could be doing it better or if he could be doing it in a different way or directing his creative energies differently. And that caused a lot of pain for him because then it altered even the energy that he brought to the drawings he was doing. He went through a period of wondering if he should even be doing the artwork anymore. So that's one example. Another example would be, a big life change, like a family breaking apart through divorce. So an event like that could definitely set an existential crisis into motion where what you thought was normal gets completely broken apart or challenged or questioned. So it's a really heightened awareness. It's a really overactive awareness of your situation and the different ways that you could rise to meet that challenge. It can feel very confining. It can feel like there's a restriction or a threat to your resources, to um, time. That's another one. Time anxiety comes a lot with existential crisis, like feeling like you're running out of time or you haven't been using your time or resources in the right way. So usually it's this loss of all of these ways of being, doing, or having that feel really familiar to us. Those go out the window, and all of a sudden we're left with all of these different possible paths that we could take, but none of them really feel right in our heart. So it's very unsettling. Sometimes there's a heightened awareness of our own death. Feels like time to enjoy life or to have kids or all of these things is running out. So it feels when we're in a time of existential crisis or we're being bombarded with these existential questions on our self-development journey, it feels like everything that we knew to be true about ourselves and about life is being uprooted. Everything we thought was real is being uprooted, or that we haven't been doing things the right way. But, and ultimately, it's what we have to be, what we think we have to be in order to be okay in the world. Has that ever happened to you? And you might even want to just pause the video right now. And if this is something that is coming up in your life, really just feel that energy and feel that existential questions and the energy that it's bringing in. And yeah, it might be really painful to feel that, but ask yourself, what is this energy? What does it seem like it's telling me that I have to be? Um, what does it seem like this energy is instructing me to do that I'm not doing good enough? And of course, these are hypothetical, rhetorical questions just to bring that awareness, bring light to that. But because you can't ever get your path wrong, you can't get it wrong, you never get it done. We're always learning, we're always evolving, we're always expanding, we're always adding, and we're always diminishing. There's a constant flow to life, and there's always going to be infinite timelines and possibilities and ways that you could go about things in your life. But that doesn't mean that your path has been wrong or bad or anything, right? You are a divine being. You have expanded so much since you've been in this body, even through all of the mistakes that you've made. We all make mistakes. But ultimately, our responsibility is in life really to ourselves. Have you ever heard that saying of, if you don't help yourself, no one else is going to, or something along those lines? And that is just taking full responsibility for our own well-being and fully accepting ourselves. And that includes accepting the limitlessness of our being. We have a lot of different choices in life, but we don't have to deny ourselves the information to get our needs met in better ways. So it's like, in some ways, have you been really denying the information that you could get by thinking that you can only be one way or you can only do things in life one certain way? And just know also that it is the nature of existence to be very uncertain. And the sooner we can really come to an awareness of that and be comfortable with that, the sooner these are going to move through and we'll be able to use that energy in a better way in the future. Because it is just energy. Even that dark dread, that's your higher self saying, uh, to the degree you're feeling this darkness, you could be feeling this light if you allowed yourself to open to that and allowed the energy to be what it wanted and needed to be. So there's never really any reassurance in life that if we do something, and even if we do it well, there's no guarantee that that is going to bring fruit or is going to bring results into our life. So that can be very anxiety provoking to figure out that there's never any reassurance that what we do is going to be rewarded or that other people are going to help us out or anything like that. That's just part of the human condition. And we're not going to have that reassurance that what we have chosen is right. That's something that we intuitively along the way can really feel into and follow our path to the best of our ability as things come up. But that's really the best that any of us can do because life is so uncertain. But also realize that this dilemma, we always think that the dilemma is only ours to face and only ours to deal with. But it's part of the human condition. We might think we are so unlucky or we are so cursed to be in the situation we're in. But there's this old saying that if everyone put their problems out in the middle of the room, we would probably all take our own problems back over someone else's because there are problems. That's our soul lessons that we are meant to learn. And they are here for us. They're not happening to us, they're here for us. But we get in this dilemma where we think that we're all alone. And so get rid of that idea as best you can that there is going to be perfection because there is not ever going to be pure perfection. Just being alive in this time space reality is proof enough that nothing is ever going to be perfect. There's no real such thing as perfect. To me, perfection is just being in the moment and suspending everything else except for our now. But also, you're not uncommon to feel like you're in this dilemma and that you have to be perfectionistic in a lot of ways. Pretty much everyone thinks this way in some way, shape, or form, that they demand things to be a certain way. It's just human nature. It's not that I'm saying all of you are perfectionists. Maybe a lot are, but there's always times that we all kind of think like that in some way, shape, or form about something. So now let's get into really alleviating this anxiety that comes with these existential questions. So, on some level, if you're watching this video, you have the mind of someone who loves to learn and grow and develop, and you know that there is something to life, that there is something to have hope for. And I think that's what keeps a lot of us going, especially during these really strange times on our planet, is just knowing that there's something to life. There's a reason we're here. There is a reason that we're here to experience joy. So the first thing is just realizing that you are able to fully love and accept yourself in all moments. And that was a new concept for me when I first started my healing journey and started coming into the self development realms. I it was a novel concept to me at the time. I think I was probably in my early 20s when I was like, whoa, you actually can love and accept yourself, even if you're feeling bad, even if you had a bad day, even if someone was mean to you, you can still love and accept yourself through all of that. So that's the first realization that you might want to just take that into your heart and really feel the energy behind that and love yourself. Love yourself when you're questioning yourself. Love yourself when you're doing well. Love yourself when you're struggling. Love yourself when you're feeling like crap. Love yourself when you feel on top of the world. That's how we train those self-love muscles, is literally loving ourselves, especially through the resistance, right? So even if you're feeling so stuck in life that you can't even move, realize that you can love yourself through that and realize the impermanent nature of our existence. Just try to enjoy your life right now and look for the things that you really can appreciate and be grateful for in this moment, and it will grow. It will continue to lead you down that path of gratitude. But also, if it's really hard for you to find gratitude right now, or it's really hard for you to see the good in anything, you're totally allowed to feel that too. The only thing I would suggest is bring the self love into that space, even of feeling hopeless, and give yourself that comfort and nurturing. So, whenever we bring resistance into the equation, the resistance always brings more resistance. So, acknowledge where you're at now and all of the good things that you have done leading up to this, and all of the reasons that you are moving in the right direction. And it kind of goes back to that the two wolves. The grandfather tells the grandson, it's about the wolves that you feed. So, which wolf are you going to feed? The good things, the things that could go right, or all of these things that are dark and doom and gloom and fighting against life, flowing with life, fighting against life? You can only start from where you are right now. And that's where you are right now is absolutely perfect. It's absolutely beautiful. And it's exactly where you need to be right now, or else you wouldn't be there. And start challenging the norms of what you think you have to be. That's going to be a huge part of shifting this, is not just accepting that voice that says you have to be this is your only option. Instead, challenge that. Well, I wonder if we could be something that embodies all of this, because life is a big enough container to really hold everything, to really hold a lot of different, even sometimes contradictory things, or things that have polarities. It's a big enough container to hold the joy and the sorrow and the pain and the happiness and the wins in life. But the less resistance we have, the more we will experience the open and expansive nature of our own being. This is something that cannot be rushed, it cannot be forced, and it comes through this acceptance of the imperfection and uncertainty in life. So, as you begin to challenge these norms that these programs have made for you in your brain, why not give this anxiety a name? When I was healing from OCD, I saw those obsessive thoughts and I had a name for them. And every time they would come up, I would say, "Oh, there they are again. There he is again." And then I would actually talk to that OCD character, and that helped me to see at the end of the day that these things are, they feel really big. They feel like they're who we are, but they're not actually who you are. They're just passing through. So think of your anxiety as a person, personify it, name it, and that begins to create the space of awareness for what's going on and awareness that you are not your thoughts. They are not you. They might just be really close to you. Another thing that can really help is setting little reminders around your house. Maybe you have a code word and you write that code word on little notes and stick them around the house. And every time you see that, it reminds you to check in with yourself and make sure that you, the observer, are in a centered and balanced place and that you're not just getting pulled into the energetic vortexes of all of these different things. Our bodies are our guideposts. So, all of this anxiety, all of this depression that comes with existential crisis or existential questions, what it's trying to tell us is stop fighting and stop adding more resistance. It's showing us where we might have come out of alignment. Get support from people around you. Really talk to other people who would really understand this and not be a space of judgment, but rather just someone that can listen to you and support you. I help a lot of clients do all of the work they need to do to work through these type of existential crises and questions and help people find what's true for them inside of them and not outside of them. Self acceptance comes with abundance. So once you're able to accept yourself more and accept all of you, all of what you're feeling, and you're able to integrate those experiences, then the abundance comes with that because you are living in your authentic harmonic signature. That's what you're pulsing out to the world. That's what's coming back to you. The world is full of so many different uncertainties in life. The ego, the fear mind, the part of your mind that is always fighting against things, that is doesn't have anything to fight against when you accept everything as it is. So when you have that anxiety come up and you say, okay, I'm just going to sit with this energy. I'm just going to feel this energy. I'm just going to be the observer of this. I'm going to create space around it and allow it to be whatever it wants to be. Well, now your ego mind has nothing to fight against. So, really, the only way out of this stuff is to go right into it and to be fearless. It takes a lot of fearlessness in some ways. So you are very courageous if you are watching this and you are beginning to already apply this into your everyday life. You are very courageous, and I just want to acknowledge that and let you know I see you and I hear you, and let me know in the comments below what you're experiencing with this in the ways that you are going to begin shifting this in your own life, and really just become more of the observer to start noticing where you're bringing that resistance in your life. um and no judgment. No judgment. Beating yourself up is never a factor for positive growth and change. So just be the observer and don't get pulled into it as often. And the more you do that, the more you're going to be in resonance with your higher self, the more opportunities are going to come to you because you are in your most authentic state. You're vibrating the highest frequency for your highest good. If you need additional support, contact a mental health professional, a licensed professional counselor, licensed marriage family therapist. You can get support from someone like me, a hypnotherapist, intuitive, someone who can give you a lot of support and help you find the right answers for you, and someone who can really hold that open space for you to find your own answers. Um, and you're going to find that you are going to be so much more connected to who you really are. And you're going to find that you will be so much more connected to the source of all life. And you'll be able to look anxiety right in the eye and embrace that. And that's going to create so much more self love and inner peace. And sometimes an existential crisis is actually the catalyst of what propels people into their dream life. So you never know. This might be one of the best things that has ever happened to you. The more that you can open to it and learn from it and integrate through it, the more better off you're going to be. So don't hesitate to like the video, comment down below about your own struggles, share the video with someone else that you think would really benefit from this information. And also, we really love if you subscribe to the channel. That helps us get this content out to more souls that really are looking for this information and that it really helps them. So, thank you so, so much for being here, for being a part of this today. Just sending you so much love and have a great spring. It's an exciting time of year. Go do something amazing for yourself, clear things out, begin new things, love your life. Talk soon.